Hi, I'm Mia, a fourth-grade teacher, and raising my son Luke as a single mother has been the most challenging yet rewarding experience of my life. For the past 5 years, it's been just the two of us. Luke's father isn't very present, and the weekends with him are more like fleeting moments than regular occurrences. For months ago, my life took a turn when I met Jake, a fellow teacher with a kind heart and an infectious laugh. He had this way of making people feel comfortable, and he genuinely loved kids. I was smitten but nervous about introducing him to Luke. Luke is very attached to me, and I worried about how he'd react to another man in my life. One sunny afternoon, I decided to take the plunge. "Hey, Luke-a-doodle," I called out to him as he was busy constructing an elaborate Lego spaceship. "What would you say to meeting someone special for lunch this weekend?" Luke looked up, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Special, huh? Like superhero special or birthday cake special?" "More like friend special," I replied, trying to keep my nerves in check. "His name is Jake, and he's a teacher too, just like me." Luke frowned, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. "Another teacher? Does he have a beard like Mr. Henderson?" I laughed, remembering Mr. Henderson, our ever-patient custodian, famous among the students for his impressive salt and pepper beard. "No beard, but he does have a really cool laugh." Saturday arrived, and with a knot of anticipation in my stomach, I introduced Luke to Jake at a local pizzeria. Initially, Luke was shy and clung to my leg, but Jake quickly put him at ease. "Hey there, Luke." Jake greeted warmly, crouching down and extending a hand. "I'm Jake. Your mom tells me you're a Lego master." Luke hesitated, but then shook Jake's hand. "Yeah, I can build spaceships and T-Rexes." "Awesome," Jake exclaimed. "Maybe you can teach me a thing or two sometime. I'm pretty terrible at anything more complicated than a simple tower." The rest of the afternoon was filled with dinosaur facts, Lego tips, and Jake's, admittedly terrible, attempts at building. By the time we left, Luke was chattering nonstop about Jake's funny laugh. Over the next few weeks, we spent several weekends together. Picnics in the park, trips to the zoo, and a hilariously disastrous bowling attempt. It felt natural, like we were slowly becoming a family. Then, Jake invited us to visit his parents' beach house. A relaxing weekend by the sea sounded perfect. Luke was excited too. When we arrived, Jake's parents, Martha and William, greeted us warmly. Their house had a nostalgic charm, with its weathered wooden exterior and the scent of salt water lingering in the air. "Come on, let me show you guys my old stomping ground," Jake announced, leading us up a creaky wooden staircase. At the top, he proudly showed us his old room, unchanged since his college days. Faded posters of rock bands adorned the walls, their edges curling slightly with age. "Wow," I breathed, feeling a nostalgic pang. Luke darted across the room, his eyes wide with curiosity. He knelt beside a dusty box overflowing with plastic figures and miniature race cars. "Cool toys, Jake," he exclaimed. Jake chuckled. "These bad boys are veterans of countless battles," he said, kneeling beside Luke. "Want to see if they can still hold their own?" Luke's face lit up like a Christmas tree. "Can I play with them here?" "Sure thing, buddy," Jake winked. As Luke began playing, Jake held my hand and pulled me closer. "Let's go downstairs," he whispered, kissing my cheek. Leaving Luke behind, we headed downstairs. I sat on the couch, admiring the beautiful house, while Jake chatted with his parents in the kitchen. The warm, welcoming atmosphere was almost intoxicating, and I felt a sense of belonging I hadn't experienced in years. Suddenly, Luke came running downstairs, looking terrified. He grabbed my hand and pulled me towards the door. "What's wrong, Luke?" I asked, my heart pounding. "Mom, we need to leave now because Jake," Luke's voice quivered. "I found a strange box with bones in his room. We need to go." "Bones? What do you mean?" "In a box, under his bed. Real bones, Mom." My mind raced. Did I trust Jake too quickly? Could he be hiding something sinister? "Wait here," I told Luke firmly, though my voice wavered with fear. I hurried back to Jake's room. My eyes were immediately drawn to the box under the bed. With trembling hands, I opened it. There they were, bones. My mind reeled, and I grabbed Luke's hand. We ran out of the house. My heart raced as I fumbled with the car keys. We sped down the driveway, leaving Jake's parents' house behind. My phone buzzed with calls from Jake, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. I was too scared and confused. After driving aimlessly for what felt like hours, I pulled over to the side of the road, needing to think clearly. The reality of what had happened began to sink in, and I decided to call the police. Within an hour, the police called back. "Mia, the bones are fake," the officer said calmly. "They're replicas used for teaching purposes. There's nothing to worry about." I felt a wave of relief, but also a crushing guilt. How could I have jumped to such drastic conclusions? I felt embarrassed and ashamed. I knew I had to call Jake. With a deep breath, I dialed his number. He picked up on the first ring. "Jake, I'm so sorry," I began, my voice breaking. I was scared, not just for myself, but for Luke. "I know I jumped to conclusions, and I'll understand if you can't forgive me." "Mia, I understand," Jake replied, his voice gentle. "You were protecting your son. I forgive you. Come back here. Let this be our funny story, not a reason to break up." I smiled through my tears, relieved. I turned to Luke. "It's okay, sweetheart. The bones weren't real. They're just for teaching. Jake isn't a bad guy." We drove back to Jake's parents' house. They looked worried, but I quickly explained and apologized for leaving abruptly. We spent the rest of the day relaxing by the ocean, the tension gradually melting away. That incident strengthened our bond, and now, we often recall it with a smile. As we sat by the beach that evening, watching the waves crash against the shore, Jake turned to me. "You know, Mia, you did the right thing. You put Luke first. That's what a good parent does." I squeezed his hand, grateful for his understanding. "Thank you, Jake, for everything." Luke, now fully at ease, ran up to us with a seashell in his hand. "Look, Mom, look what I found," he exclaimed, his earlier fear completely forgotten. "That's beautiful, Luke," I said, hugging him tightly, just like our day. The rest of the weekend was a blur of laughter, beachcombing, and shared meals. Jake's parents welcomed us with open arms, and it felt like we were part of their family. The incident with the bones became a funny story we'd tell around the dinner table, a reminder of how quickly things can be misunderstood. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned a brilliant shade of orange, Jake took my hand and led me down the beach. "Mia, I know we've only been together for a few months, but it feels like I've known you forever. You and Luke mean the world to me." Tears welled up in my eyes as I looked at him. "You mean the world to us too, Jake." He smiled, pulling me into a warm embrace. "I promise to always be there for you both, no matter what." That weekend marked a turning point in our relationship. It wasn't just about Jake and me anymore. It was about us as a family. Luke had found a father figure in Jake, and I had found a partner who understood and supported me. As we drove back home, Luke fell asleep in the back seat, clutching his seashell. Jake reached over and took my hand. "Thank you for trusting me, Mia." I squeezed his hand, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "Thank you for being someone I can trust." Life moved forward, and our bond grew stronger. We faced challenges, like any family, but we faced them together. And whenever we needed a good laugh, we'd recount the story of the fake bones and how it brought us closer. In the end, it wasn't just a funny story. It was a testament to the power of trust, love, and the importance of family. And every time I looked at Jake and Luke, I knew I had found my forever home.